Okay, I finished my math diagnostic exam. What next? Well, let's take a look at what we have. So when we click math, we can see our results from the dashboard of our math exam. Note I've jumped up a level to 98. I'm a rising star now. Yay. Okay, my math exam details, as we learned in other help lessons, is right there. I can click in the details of the math exam. I'll see my scores. And I have some category results from my math exams. How did I do by topic? What were my weakest math categories? Note it shows overall in the last 30 days. So you can see a differentiation between how you're doing recently and over the course of your study period, 3, 6 months or longer. I see how I've done by difficulty. I'm doing really well on the easy problems, not so much on the hard problems. Okay. Notice I'm doing worse on grid in than multiple choice. That's not unusual. There are no checks for grid in. There are no multiple choice games or tricks you can use for grid in. So scores can be lower, even as much as half the percentage of multiple choice. So that's one to keep track of and take note of. Okay, so I want to jump to the next step. Just finished my math diagnostic. It's going to be the category drills right here, math category drills. This is where I'm going to go to next. And I can see again how I'm doing by every math topic category. I have issues with number line measurements, word problems, algebra, evaluate functions. Not terrible because I scored very well on the math, but I need to improve those areas. So how would I go about doing that? I'm going to go down to my rapid drills. I can take them 100, 150% time, which is going to be a difference of 7.5 to about just over 11 minutes. Short practices, nice and easy. You can do them on your phone. You can do them while in school, on a break, on the bus, in the car, whatever. Okay? So I could practice by difficulty, easy, medium, hard, or I'm going to go into topics because I want to improve certain topics like word problems. Well, geometry, numbers, probability, algebra, word problems. I might start here with my word problems and work on that. Okay, so that's where I'm going to go to next. Eventually, what I want to do is I want to fill out the full spectrum of different topics. That'll give me a sense overall how I'm doing, what areas I need to improve on. So this is the logical next step for most students to go to work on your topic drill or your category drill problems. By the way, note the course home link here takes me back to effectively my library. So I can see my library of lessons, which, by the way, the drills will link to, but I can go to that separately as well. And practice by topic is where I just came from. But I can also from here drill down to all the questions and details from my practice by topic. So when I do get some results, if I wanted to investigate the particular questions, I just drill down to the questions. And that's how I use that course homepage link. So let's go back to practicing by topic. And I'm back to my category drills page for math. Let's go down to the word problems. Note the cheat sheet. Let's see what the cheat sheet is. Well, it's essentially if you had known the topic and you wanted to create a cheat sheet of things I need to know for the test, this would be it. What in word problems do you need to do? What skill sets do you have to have? I have to be able to translate words to math equations. I need to be able to solve systems of equations. Many word problems result in that. Let's see that for a different category as well. How about, say, for geometry, angles, triangles. What does the cheat sheet there look like? Well, again, it talks about my 5 core angle theorems: vertical angles, transversals, polygon interior angles, the relationship between interior angles and opposite sides of triangles, also similar triangles, etc. How do we find them? What's the definition of them? How do we set up correct proportion equations? That's where students mess that up a lot in problems like this. So this outlines what you need to know, the concepts you need to know. So it's not a direct link just to lessons without any context. This is essentially set up like a tutor would set up. These are the concepts, the skills, the theorems in this section I need to outline and teach my student. And it's pretty much how a tutor's course might be structured. So you can see in context exactly what you need to know. And from there, with that context, you can link to the individual lessons. So I might go right to my angle theorems. Or if I wanted, I might go particularly to my polygon, interior, exterior angle sums and related theorems. I might look up my similar triangles to understand similar triangles and how to work with them. So again, that's how the cheat sheet is set up. Not strictly just a lesson link, but a lesson link with context. So you better understand what you need to know, essentially as we would set them up and teach you as concepts in any tutoring course, for example. Okay? So with that, let's jump into my word problem exercises. I'm going to click word problems, and I'm going to begin my rapid drills on word problems. Again, I'll see the key concepts off to the right. Essentially our cheat sheet again with direct lesson links if I choose to use them. And I'm going to start my rapid drill. My question here might be: a squirrel climbed up a tree whose height was exactly 85 plus 8. Okay, I always take the first sentences first. 85 plus 8 is 93. So it's 93 feet high, this tree. Every day the squirrel went up 18 feet. So this looks like some kind of divisibility problem. Every night the squirrel came down 13. If the squirrel did not pause or stop, when did it first reach the top? Okay, interesting. I can't just take 93 divided by 18 because it comes down 13 every night. So the net change on a given day is 5. So I could say, well, 93 divided by 5 is going to be 18 3/5. So really I have to go 19 full days to get up. But wait, that's not correct either. Because if we're thinking about it, and the test likes to check your logic, I need to go up until the point I'm 18 feet away from 93. What would that be? I would have to get up to 75 feet. Because at 75 feet, I start the day, I go up 18, and I get to the top for the very first time. Remember, that's what the question is. When did it first reach the top? It may not stay at the top that day, but it reached the top the day after it ended at 75 feet because it goes up 18 before it goes down 13. So 75 divided by 5 would be 15 days. The 16th day, it'll go up 18 feet to 93. It'll touch the top and then it'll come back down. But day 16 is the first day. So I'll go ahead and I'll proceed to answer these questions. And once I'm finished with my drill, I'm going to submit, and it looks like I got 100%. I got 5 out of 5 correct. Excellent. And I can go through again, look at the answer explanations for each and every one of them, including tips, video explanations, etc. Okay? Well, now I want to go back to my drills page. I can either backspace a couple times, or I could click Change Drill. In either case, I get back to my drills page. What I will notice now is I've actually updated my information. So word problems, I got 100%. Remember, that was one of my weaker categories. That has moved up. It is now up to 90% correct on word problems. It's moved up the chain. No longer the problem it was before. I've improved on my word problems. I can see I'm getting better. And I'll keep going through this process. Next, I might tackle number line and measurements. So on this problem, I notice ln, the length here is 1/8. So 1/8 is actually in 16ths. That's 2/16. So 4 5/16 to 4 7/16. Notice this is a little more than a quarter. 7/16 is a little less than a half. So the answer has to be probably 4.31 or 4.35. I'm going to guess 4.35 is the correct answer without any exact calculation. Taking a little bit of a chance there, but so this one requires us to pay attention to detail. The product of consecutive odd integers, 63 over 5, is essentially going to be between 12 and 13. So the consecutive odds it's between is 11 and 13, and that's going to be a product of 143. So F is the midpoint of AC. Well, AC goes from -6 to 9. So the midpoint of that is going to be the average of those. 9 minus 6 is 3 divided by 2. So the midpoint is 1 1/2. G is the midpoint of BC. Well, BC goes from 4 to 9. That midpoint is going to be 13 divided by half, or 6.5. So between 1.5 and 6.5, that is the length. That length is 5. Point Q is to be placed on the number line 1/3 of the way from R to P. What number will be at the midpoint of PQ? So let's be careful of that question. So R to P is from -3 to 4. I'm sorry, -5, be careful, to 4. That's a length of 9. 1/3 of 9 is 3. I'm going from R to P, so I go R down 3. That takes me to 1. Do not answer G. The question, we always read the question again before we circle in. What number will be the midpoint of PQ? So that's the midpoint of -5 and 1, which is, sum of those is -4 divided by 2 gives us the average, or the midpoint. Midpoint is always the average calculation between the 2 points. That's -2. The correct answer here should be K, -2. Okay, I'm done with my number line drill. Let's view the results. And I got 100% again. Yay, excellent. So again, I have all my details and answer explanations, and I am going to go back to my results to change the drill, which basically takes me back to my rapid drills page. And now I will see, number lines is no longer the worst performing segment. In fact, it's jumped up also to about 89 or 90%. I can see I'm doing much better on my number lines. At this point, you can also drill down into the details of all the questions you took on all the drills. There are a couple ways to get there. If I'm at the dashboard, I can click on my Learn Math library. And every time we go to the library, we have a link to the category lessons to drill down to the questions from all the drills, or to practice by topic. So if I were on the practice by topic page doing my category drills, I would simply click Course Home. That's the other way to get there, depending on where you're coming from. What we want to do to drill down into the questions is click Drill Down to the Questions. And that will give us a result of all the questions we took on the 2 drills, as well as our diagnostic math exam. So we can see right here we have our diagnostic math exam results, and it's set to show 25 by default. Let's show all so we can see that. So we have the 57 questions on the math exam, and we have the 2 rapid drills, the word problems algebra 5 questions, and the number line drills we took. And we can see exactly how we did and drill down to particular details of every question, including the answer explanation. So this allows us to go back on our drills and check how we're doing on each of the drills. So for example, I might want to sort this by word problems. Well, there are my word problems, or filter it, I should say, by word problems. And I'll see the word problems from the exam and from the rapid drills. I can see how I'm doing on word problems. That's 90. Recall, that's exactly what my graph indicated from my word problems, 90. So this way you can go down and you can check and filter and sort the information you want and drill down into question details and explanations that you want to see from your drills, same as we did from the exams. But this section includes the drills and only the diagnostic exam. So I keep going like this, but notice I only have about 8 categories here. There are way more categories for math. Several were not covered on the original math exam. I want to plow through all of them. For example, there was no problem on angles and triangles, so I'm going to try my angles and triangles. And I might just work down and go through all my categories. That would take probably about 3 or 4 hours in all, given the number of different math topics. But that 3 to 4 hours will be well spent, because what you'll end up with at the end of the time is a full distribution curve of how you're doing and what your weaknesses are. It might look something like this. After 3 to 4 hours, you'll have a much more complete curve and assessment of how you're doing across all categories on the exam. So for example, we see after more practice, it looks like other factors, LCMs, are a weak area for this student. It's going to require more work on that particular area. Now I have two options. I can go to look at more lessons, do more practice drills on these different topics, try to learn the material yourself. If, however, that's problematic, this sets you up for our tutoring. You can make the decision, do I want to pursue my topic-based tutoring and work on factors, LCM. We have a course just for that. And the beauty of the course for that is it's only about $100, and it continues as long as you want to continue. Do so month after month, or at some point you get it, you understand the concepts, you're improving your scores, you cancel. It's a far more cost-effective and maybe even more importantly, time-effective. It keeps you from wasting hours on topics you don't need to cover that you're already very good at over here, as we can see. That way you can focus and buy only the tutoring services you need. So at this point, after taking your diagnostic, after spending 3-4 hours on your drills, getting a full assessment of what categories you're good and not so good at, you can begin to make a decision. Do I want to keep pursuing this internally with the platform, using the lessons there and more exercises? Remember, all the exercises pull from a large repository. You don't just take them once and done. You do them over and over. It'll keep populating new questions every time. So continued practice there will be extremely effective. Alternatively, you might make the decision, I want some tutoring help at this point, and begin that process, which we can help you out with. So contact us and let us know. This is how we take advantage of the category results page on Academy Pro.